Angry MGTOW here, and today I'm discussing why feminism is a bubble that is about to pop for white women, and I don't mean only white women. It's about to pop for all women. I I began working on this video earlier. However, we had some technical difficulties, so I deleted that and we're starting a brand new video. So let's go ahead and play the intro, and then we'll jump directly into the video itself. We'll jump into it after I play the intro. Okay, so we got the intro off the ground. Feminism is a bubble that is about to collapse, and one of the places where it's beginning to collapse extremely is in places such as China. I talked about in another video how in China they were actually putting in masculinity textbooks given to fourth and fifth graders, and they're talking about using gender segregation in schools. For example, they are actually discussing the prospect of separating boys and girls starting in middle school, where boys would go to a separate middle school and potentially a separate high school also, where they would be taught how to be men. China is extremely worried that young men are becoming entirely effeminate. Now, you think this is a game? In China, there's such a thing as the Chinese Federation for Women, which is a Chinese feminist federation. It's a feminist organization that has been around since 1949, I believe. However, in China, they have what's called the leftover women. And if you think that Chinese feminists are like American feminists, think again. We're going to be looking at a video that basically explains the epidemic in China. And you have to understand, this is not only in China. In places such as Mexico, feminists are actually being killed. You heard me right. In places such as Mexico, numerous feminists have actually been killed over the years. Also, in places like Mexico, rape laws are almost non-existent. There are rape laws, but they're seldomly enforced. And when I say rape, I'm not talking about date rape. No, we're not talking about date rape in Mexico. We're talking about rape, where men simply attack a woman and forcibly rape her. There's a lot of women who are even raped by family members in Mexico. Also in places such as Brazil. Again, in many of these countries, there are absolutely no laws that truly prosecute rapists that commit violent rape, where they will literally grab a woman off the street and rape her. Yet in America, you have feminists crying, attacking, saying men don't understand consent. If a guy meets a girl, takes her home, and they have sex, but she changes her mind during the actual sex. Guys, feminism is a bubble. And I talked about in the previous video how bubbles work. Back in the 1990s, we had the tech bubble. Bill Gates was once worth over $100 billion right around 1990. You heard me. But just like with all other bubbles, when the bubble popped, everything went to hell. People thought that the tech industry was doing better than it really was. And when they found out that it wasn't, a lot of people lost their jobs, and the value of the industry never recovered. While the tech industry continues to grow, it's not growing at the same rate or valued at the same rate that it was back in the early 90s and even mid 90s. Back in the 1920s, the roaring 20s, we had the Great Depression. And what happened with the Great Depression? People thought that things were better than they really were. They thought there were some more jobs, more productivity. They thought things were happening at a stronger rate. The economy was better than it really was in the roaring 20s. And when they found out that they weren't, the economy crashed in 1929. And people actually committed suicide on specific floors in office buildings. There are 2 floors in office buildings, as far as I recall, where they don't actually build them anymore because so many people actually jumped from these floors. This is the definition of a bubble. Feminism has no backbone. Usually it sticks around for a couple of years and then goes underground. That's how it was always for the last couple of decades. But feminism has been going crazy, roaring its head since the 1990s with almost no stop in sight. And now it's about to it's literally, it's not imploding. It's the bubble, I would say, actually popped in 2016, and it's dying a miserable death in 2017. I'm going to go ahead and play the video, and you can see how how Chinese feminists are treating what they call the leftover women who are now hitting the ripe old age of 27 and can't find a man. And again, this is the Chinese Feminist Federation. Let's go ahead and watch the video.
On this episode of China Uncensored, I don't think Chinese feminists understand what feminism means. Hi, welcome to China Uncensored. I'm Chris Chappell. Does the perfect man exist? Maybe he does, but why on earth would he want to marry you? That's the advice China's Women's Federation is offering to what they call the leftover women. Women who have spent too much time getting an education, not enough time finding a hubby, and now have reached the unmarriageable age of 27. Now before you get offended, keep in mind the way they calculate age is a little different in China, so really by US calculation, they mean 26. Again, this comes from China's state feminist agency, the All China's Women Federation, which was founded in 1949 to protect women's rights and interests. Oh, look at them. They coined the term leftover women in 2007 with articles like Overcoming the Big Four Emotional Blocks, Leftover Women Can Break Out of Being Single, and 8 Simple Moves to Escape the Leftover Women Trap. China's Ministry of Education has even added the term to its official lexicon. Here's a taste. I have to thank Times contributor Lita Hong Fincher for finding this gem from 2011. Pretty girls don't need a lot of education to marry into a rich and powerful family, but girls with an average or ugly appearance will find it difficult. These kinds of girls
So as you guys can see, things are really hitting the fan in China. Even the feminist organization in China is essentially saying, yeah, you guys are fucked. You wasted your time. You wasted your best years fucking around. You can't find a man now, and it's your fault. This is coming from the Chinese Feminist Federation. That's when I say that culturally, feminism is dead. The older baby boomer women in China are saying, fuck you to the millennials.
Girls hope to further their education in order to increase their competitiveness. The tragedy is they don't realize that as women age, they're worth less and less. So by the time they get their MA or PhD, they're already old, like yellowed pearls. And these are the feminists. I mean, this stuff sounds like some nightmare version of Cosmo or the more painful writing on Mad Men. Now I know what you're probably thinking. Boy, do I hate leftover women. Well, according to the Women's Federation, you should. They just spend their nights going to clubs for one-night stands, becoming mistresses to rich officials. It's only when they've lost their youth and are kicked out by that man that they decide to look for a life partner. Therefore, most women do not deserve our sympathy. But
guys, the feminist organization describes leftover women as most of these women end up going to clubs and spend their time with rich, wealthy men. And then, so they do not deserve our sympathy. This is coming from the Chinese Feminist the Chinese Feminist Federation, the national organization for women in China. Think about that carefully. I talked about earlier that literally they're talking about gender segregation in schools now, where they may literally put boys in separate schools starting at middle school all the way to high school because they're becoming too effeminate. The Chinese government, not simply state officials, China's government is literally concerned, very concerned about the lack of masculinity in China, and they're doing their very best to reinforce it right now. Think about that carefully. I've said it before that in places like Mexico, they are killing feminists. Killing them. And I mean, even things such as rape go unpunished in these places. Mexico, Brazil, a lot of these other countries. In China, they hang rapists. They hang rapists in China. But here's the funny thing. If you beat your wife in China, things like that are going completely unpunished. Hell, you can get away with it, and those are matters for the household. So those are private matters. Oh my gosh.
But to all my lady viewers, which according to YouTube analytics, I have none, if you ever get married, your job is still not done. So one day you find out your husband's been having an affair. Don't get mad at him. It's your fault. You probably should have just gotten a new haircut or something. No man is capable of spending a lifetime being loyal to an outmoded wife who never changes. At this point, I would just like to say, I'm totally capable of spending a lifetime being loyal to an outmoded wife, and I think 27 is a beautiful age. Thanks for watching China Uncensored. I'm Chris Chappell.
Well, thanks, Chris. Guys, as you can see, this is what's happening in China. China, okay? Women don't feel sorry for women in China. They said don't feel sorry for them. That's from the feminist organization. If this is how the feminists in China see women, how do you think other women see women? The status of women is not very favorable in China. Fathers mourn if they have daughters in China, because children, boys, are their social security. They are expected to take care of their parents into old age. Girls have no such responsibility. You have to understand that we're going to continue seeing more situations like this one where women are literally being cast out into society and literally being ostracized from society. The very notion that women have this extreme amount of value, they have nothing. They have literally nothing to back it up. When you look at women's contributions to society, they are relatively lower than men. Women have literally built their houses on the sand in the United States and Western countries. And if you look at what Donald Trump is doing, he's cutting Obamacare at a rapid speed. He's defunding Planned Parenthood at a rapid speed. He hasn't even been president for an entire week yet. Friday, tomorrow makes a week. 1 week since Donald Trump has been president. In less than a week since Donald Trump has been president, he's ordered that the wall be built, the Mexican wall be built. He's proposed a 20% tax on imports from Mexico to pay for the construction of his wall. He's begun defunding Planned Parenthood, signing initiatives to make it more difficult to get abortions and have abortion funding made accessible. He's also, he immediately has reduce the availability of loans to low-income people, specifically women, so they can buy properties using HUD. Guys, he's moving at a crazy rate. He has suspended all federal job hirings, and we know that the majority of people who are working for the government are women. The only jobs that he has not suspended expansion in is in military and law enforcement and defense. So essentially an infrastructure. So basically construction jobs, jobs where you're building up the country, jobs that you're protecting the country, jobs that predominantly men will do. Those are the jobs that are still safe. All the other useless federal jobs, those are you can't hire anymore, and you cannot fill any more vacant positions. That's literally stopped. So women on the federal level, they won't be able to pick up these government jobs anymore that they love to get. So they won't be able to live off the government jobs. He's cutting government funds left and right. The feminist bubble is popping. It's about to pop. And as it pops, I mean, women are literally fucked. The white women especially, who said they are so oppressed, and they pioneered tags such kill all men or kill all white men. That's going to come back to haunt them now, as white men are vengeful at this point. Vengeful. Very, very, very vengeful. And the greatest way that men will get back at these women is by just ignoring them. Ignoring them entirely. when they come out now and say, hey, we want a husband, help us, take care of us because we can't find work. I already coined a term called the she session. The she session is coming, where women will be hit this time harder than men because they won't be able to find jobs as cashiers. They won't be able to find jobs. They won't be able to hold jobs because the lucrative 9-to-5 jobs are disappearing left and right. And you'll actually have to have a real skill to offer. More and more men are going to start going into the field of engineering. Engineering is going to rise prominently in the United States. The thing about it is that you have women going to these 3-month programs, graduating and calling themselves engineers. That shit isn't going to fly anymore. You're going to actually have to know how to work as an engineer, or you're going to be fucked. And these women will not be able to cut it. Many of them won't even make it through the programs. When they can't find any jobs, and they're going to continue getting pregnant, trust me. They're going to continue getting pumped and dumped because hypergamy is something that women, they're really good at. And when they, during hard times, they're going to try to retreat themselves into drugs, sex, and a bunch of other shit. We already know statistically that women are drinking as much alcohol as men now, even though they're smaller than men. So they're getting more drunk than we are. And that number is likely to rise. So as the health of men improves and the lives of men improve, the lives of women is going to get worse. And let me tell you something about manginas that I've come to realize. When I talk about the whole sex bot concept and the lifelike sex doll thing, guys, love doll parlors, which we're going to have lifelike sex dolls, whatever. There's a lot of beta males who are increasingly going to stop having sex with women and find alternatives such as VR porn, machines, mechanical objects that initiate masturbation. All kinds of crazy shit is coming. And beta males are going to accept this. You guys are so crazy to think that these beta males aren't going to take this. They're going to. The manginas are going to jump at this stuff. You've got to be kidding me. If we cut out porn today, do you think beta males, manginas would simply sit back? They would erupt. They would cry a river. They wouldn't say good, it simply objectifies women. They would go insane. Take porn away, and beta males, manginas will be running in the streets weeping. They will literally go insane. Insane. Because these are men who aren't able to a lot of them aren't able to actually have sex with a woman. And I'm telling you guys that women have priced themselves out of the market. They've priced themselves out of the sexual reproductive market. They've priced themselves out of the economy. They have priced themselves out of society. There are going to be FEMA camps that are literally covered in women who cannot find a place to live. They can't find a man to be in a relationship with. Men are increasingly just going to pump and dump these women. I'm looking at a comment that Sapella Shepherd says, and she says, they actually have the love doll parlor things shown on Humans, the new series about robots that look human. Love doll parlors in Japan are thriving. Love doll parlors are thriving. People are reporting, the owners of these parlors are reporting that they get dozens of customers a day. Dozens of customers a day. And at these parlors, they charge, for example, $50 for 30 minutes of sex with a love doll. $50 for 30 minutes of sex with a love doll. Think about that very, very carefully. And the owners of these parlors say they're getting dozens of customers a day. Dozens. Guys, this shit is going to hit America at some point. And you have to understand, the beta males are going to jump on top of it. Alright, Turtling Monkey, we talked about this in the podcast we did about a week or two ago, and he pointed out that a lot of these men in the past, a lot of these beta males would be eunuchs or not allowed to have sex. Nick O'Brien in the chat says, grab him by the pussy is now the national policy, Angry MGTOW. Well, we can laugh about that, but the truth of the matter is that it's going to go one way or another. You're going to have the few alpha males that are left are just simply going to take what they want, while a lot of the beta males are just going to retreat. And even as women begin trying to talk and trying to get back out there, many of them have not only hit the wall, but they might as well have hit the wall because they've worn their bodies out. They spent the last 10 years whoring, riding the cock carousel, and now who's going to want them? Who in their right mind is going to want them? No one. I mean, look at how China treats these women. They literally they say the feminist federation national group in China says, do not feel sorry for these women. They spend their time in clubs around wealthy men. Okay? They basically whore themselves. They sleep around. Don't feel sorry for the leftover women. They do it to themselves. Don't give them sympathy. I mean, it's so bad. In China, they literally added it to the lexicon, to the dictionary. The word leftover woman is a real word in China, officially recognized terminology to describe these women who hit 27 years old and no one wants them. They go in to get their master's and their PhD, but they're not worth anything anymore. A woman's value comes from her looks, but by the time that she's done sleeping around and getting her advanced degrees, no one wants her. And the irony is that she doesn't even give a damn about the advanced degrees because she's not going to use them anymore. She wants a man to take care of her. She went and got these degrees because she simply wanted to have fun. She wanted to have an adventure. You know, guys, I talked about Trump and dump, and that's what we're going to see more of happening. You're going to see more men who have resources literally fucking these women and walking away from them. Are the beta males not fucking them at all? Women have literally created a miserable situation for themselves, and this is the outcome. Feminism is a bubble that is about to pop for white women and all women in general, where they won't be able to find men, find jobs, find anything. As I said, there are going to be FEMA camps filled with women because they won't be able to even find a decent place to live. Max Powers says in the comments, I live in Beijing. Beijing is in China. It's a big place in China. I think it's one of the biggest cities in China, if not the biggest. Leftover women are seen as trash. There are a lot of women begging on the subway here. I never give them any money. Guys, this is a guy that lives in China. Maxwell Power said this a moment ago in the comments. I live in Beijing. Leftover women are seen as trash. There are a lot of women begging on the subway here. I never give them any money. Guys, this isn't a game. This is the reality of things. All right? They are on the subways begging in China. You're going to see women begging in America. Begging. I've literally had women walk up to me, not recently, and ask me for money. Women, white women, ask me for money, ask me for help, telling me that they fucked up and they just need some help. Pretty girls. There was this one girl who came asking me for help, and this was a while ago, and if it wasn't for the fact that I was a MGTOW monk, I would have told her, she asked me for money so she could buy food. I literally came out of a grocery store, and she asked me for money so that she can buy food. And you know, I could have easily said to her, you know, there's a Motel 6 across the street. You know, come across there, I'll fuck you, and then I'll give you $20. And she probably would have taken it. You think that the scumbag men, because there's a lot of scumbags out there, there's a lot of guys who don't have any respect for women. They don't care about women at all. They don't like them. They don't even see them as people. And they will take they will take advantage of these women left and right. Women literally had it good. So good that they kept on pushing and pushing and pushing until now we're entering an age where literally women are going to find themselves in a world of pain and suffering. Sabella Shepherd says, dude, there was a girl in in her 20s who flagged down our friend for a ride, and she asked him if he was a cop and then asked him if he would have sex with her for money because she needed money. Did you hear this comment, guys, from Sabella? She says, dude, there was a girl in her 20s who flagged down our friend for a ride. She asked him if he was a cop and then asked him if he would have sex with her for money because she needed money. Here's how it works with prostitutes. I've fucked a few of them, so I know. Basically, it's common practice to ask a woman if she's a cop, or she'll ask if you're a cop. Entrapment is illegal, so if you ask if a person is a cop, they legally have to tell you if they're a cop or not. If they say something like, "Do I look like a cop to you?" then you say, "I don't know. Are you?" And if they say something like, "Listen, either we can do it or you can get the fuck out," you walk. If they refuse to actually say they're not a cop, they are a cop. If she refuses to say that she is not a cop, she's a cop. That's how it works with cops. If you ask someone if they're a cop and they refuse to admit that they're a cop and they start dancing around it, and you can immediately tell, because usually they'll respond aggressively. No. It's very easy for them to say, "No, I'm not a cop." That's how entrapment works. They legally have to tell you if they're a cop. We're going to see more guys going after this. You're going to see a lot more women that are selling ass. Oldest trade in the world. That's all women have. And let me tell you something about hunger. Hunger is a bitch. When women are hungry, they will sell ass for nothing. Over in Greece, women are selling ass for $5 right now. $2. As little as €2. Women are selling ass for as little as €2, the price of a cheese sandwich. Teenagers are selling ass for as little as €2, the price of a cheese sandwich. In France right now, not France, in Germany, it's in Greece, where they had the Greek collapse. It is so bad that for a long time you could only get $50 out of the bank every single day. You heard me right. You could only take $50 out of the bank, and people would literally wait online for hours every single day just so they could take $50 out. Imagine working your entire life, saving up your money, and now you can only take $50 out. $50 of your money out. That is the Greek crisis. Teenagers who have no money, teenagers who are suffering and struggling just to survive, they are selling sex for nothing. They're almost giving it away for free just because they are hungry. Just so they can buy the cheapest of meals. Bread and cheese, a cheese sandwich. And I remember reading on in a comment of one of my videos where someone said that they're paying that the men are paying too much. Guys, you think this is a game? People call me the angry MGTOW and they say I'm hateful, but I've said it before that I don't wish genocide on women. I don't enjoy seeing a woman hurt. There are a lot of men out there who they jerk off to this stuff. They don't like women. They will treat women like trash and then discard them as such. There's a lot of guys like that out there, and women are going to discover these men. Especially in like a lot of countries like Germany right now. Germany is fucked. France is fucked. I mean, the Muslims have moved in and they are kicking ass. Sweden is the rape capital of the world as a result of the immigration policies. And no one is stopping anything. And even as they oust people such as Angela Merkel, who's going to be ousted this year, it doesn't matter because the country is already in such serious trouble. If you want to know how things are going to look in the next couple of years, things are going to get even more conservative. The country is headed in a very conservative direction. Very conservative. But not in the way people think. We're going to go back to the point where literally women are going to be hoisting their skirts and sticking their asses out. because that's all they have to offer, hoping that a man will take care of them. And guess what? A lot of guys are going to turn them down because women have done it to themselves. After telling men, you are demonizing us, you are attacking us, you are punishing, you are objectifying us. Then women will, and when women can no longer barter sex for anything at the worst of times, they are going to scream bloody murder against feminism. They are not going to hear the word feminism. People like Taylor Swift are going to be attacked and hated. Beyonce is going to say she is not a feminist. She'll say something like feminism has run its course. She's going to start acting like she's a mommy now. She's going to get pregnant and have another child. Feminists are going to attack her left and right. But not even, I shouldn't say feminist. Women are going to attack her left and right because they're going to say, wait a minute, you told us all this shit. You basically trumpeted feminism, and now we can't afford to eat. And you're now a family woman. You're essentially living a wholesome life, and you're saying you're no longer a feminist when our lives are fucked. Celebrity feminism was what allowed feminism to become a national household thing, as celebrities began using feminism to sell themselves. But now as feminism, celebrity feminism has only proven to be a toxic marketing gimmick. It's going to become downright ridiculous. And a lot of companies that have alienated men are going to begin coming out with ads trying to gain male customers back. As income of women begin to dry up, they're going to be turning to men to buy the big products, to buy the things for women that they can't buy for themselves. And there's going to be a resounding no for men. Just like men are going to reject women and say, no, we won't save you. A lot of men are going to say to brands that ostracize them, that demonize them, no. Companies did it to themselves, and they have no one else to blame but themselves. So for them, all I can say is the end is truly near. And aside from that, I want to remind you guys that I do about 3 of these videos every single day. So if you want to help me make more quality content, definitely consider going over to my YouTube homepage and leaving a donation by the PayPal link. Also, never miss another Angry MGTOW video by clicking on the notification button. As you can see here, here's the notification button, and you just have to click on it. And when you click on it, it's right next to the subscribe button. You'll get a pop-up, and it'll say, send me all notifications for this channel. You just click on the box, hit save. If you've already done it, you don't have to do it again. This will ensure that you never miss another Angry MGTOW video ever again. When I'm streaming or whenever I put out a new video, you'll get an immediate notification. So definitely make sure you do that. It's really, really important. Please consider going over to my YouTube homepage or looking at the link in this video for my PayPal link. Click on the PayPal link, send a donation. If you have video requests, include your video requests in the message section. When you send your donation, I'll make a video for you. And I try to make about 3 of these videos every single day, so that I can, you guys have lots of content, plus I do bonus content. But I want to know what you guys think, if you agree that the feminist bubble has now popped, or it is popping, and women are going to find themselves in a world of pain and suffering. Want to know what you guys think, so let me know what you think in the comment section. If you enjoyed the video, please hit the like button. Don't forget to subscribe, and if you like the video, share the video. And just remember that all roads lead to MGTOW or death. And cheers.